Welcome back to Life Happens, Yo. So let me tell you about how I met my wife. This was in 2017. Um, it was a few years after I came off my divorce from my first wife. So it wasn't that I was looking to get married by that time, but I was open. I was definitely open to it. Um, Also, around that time, some of my friends and I, guy friends, we did some boys' trips in the past few years, starting in, I want to say 2015. So we did it for a couple years already back then. We went to Serbia, Montenegro in 2015. Then we went to um, Vietnam, South Korea in 2016. So in 2017, we were planning to have another boys trip, right? Usually lasts about 7 to 10 days. So not too long, but at the same time, it was around February of 2017 at this time, and we were about to plan it out. And I came across a really, really cheap flight, like 500, I don't know, 520, $550 on a round trip to Bangkok, Thailand. Like, I've never seen that cheap flight in my life before, even around that time. So I messaged my friends and I said, "Hey, listen, this is a great deal. We should go, right? Like we should go to Thailand." And we always talk about going to Thailand. And actually, my best friend been to Thailand before, and so I'll tell you about what advice he gave me about Thailand later. So I messaged them about going to Thailand, but they all came back telling me, "Peter, the trip is like a month away, right? That the $500+ airfare was like a month away. You have to fly around March or something, and we just can't make it. You know, they have their corporate jobs, whatnot. And at that time, I was running a social events business, so I can have as much free time as I want. My business was basically throwing parties, and usually on the weekends. And if I didn't feel like throwing parties, then I'm free, right? Or I can get someone to host my parties. So for me, time was not an issue, but for them it was an issue, and they didn't want to. They couldn't go. So I had to decide: should I go by myself? I've never really done a solo trip. Actually, not true. I did one solo trip to Ukraine, believe it or not, a few years back. But that was my only solo trip I did. And so this would be my second solo trip. And I was a little bit nervous about doing solo trips, like I've never really done it except that one time. And I'm just more comfortable going with trips with my, friends or significant others. So I decided to go because I said to myself, one, you're not going to get that price. That price of 500 X dollars is going to disappear, right? And it's not that I couldn't afford an airfare ticket that was $700, $800 or even $1,000. I could have afford it, but it just makes, why pay hundreds of dollars extra when you can get a $500 ticket? So that was number one. Number two, I like to challenge myself. So even though I'm not like so comfortable going on a solo trip, I felt I can do it, and I decided to pull the trigger one night, like just pulling the trigger without telling my friends or family. I'm like, I'm going to Thailand. So yeah, I bought a ticket. It was around the ticket was for late March. It was around my birthday, so it was sort of a bonus as my birthday present. So I tried to convince my friends to go with me again. They couldn't. So I had like 1 month to prepare for my trip to Thailand. Literally 1 month. So I decided, you know what? Since I'm going solo, since I'm a little bit sort of uncomfortable going solo, maybe it's kind of nice to meet people there when I land, right? Instead of like trying to meet them at a public place like a bar, restaurant, or a park. I don't know. It's. I'm a social guy, but hey, Jack, I'm a social guy, but I'm not like that confident. Just approach a person, blindly, like, hey, how are you? So I thought, why not go online and maybe get to know them first, and then I can get to meet them when I'm in Thailand. So I did that. So not gonna lie, I went to, hey Jack, all right, thanks for the cameo. So I went to basically OK Cupid Thailand, I think, and did my search, did my thing, did my profile, and I was a little bit surprised. I was getting good feedback, and eventually talked to about three girls. So let's call them in alphabetical order: Amy, Becky, and Cami. Obviously, that's not their real names, but for privacy for now, I'm going to call them Amy, Becky, and Cami. So I was corresponding with those three girls, and I was going really well. And in that 1 month that I was corresponding them, they all agreed to meet me, right? And that's when my friend Michael gave me an advice. He said, Peter, let me warn you about Thailand. I've been to Thailand. I had a great time. Food is amazing. Weather's a little hot and sticky, but culture's amazing. People are amazing. Very kind, very happy, very beautiful. He knew I was single, right? So he's like, beautiful women. And talking about women, he's like, don't fall in love. It's so easy to fall in love with a Thai woman, right? You're a single guy, and I know you're ready to get married again one day, but don't go there and just get married, right? Like, and have a good time, but don't get married. And when he said that to me, I was laughing. I'm like, dude, who do you think I am? Like, you think I'm such a simpleton that I would travel, I don't know how many 1,000+ miles to Thailand, and just because I'm having a great time with beautiful women, I'm gonna get married? Like, dude, like, seriously, I'm laughing at basically in his face, like, who do you think I am, right? Anyway, so he gave me that advice. I took it. I took that advice. I noted it down, but I kind of like, yeah, whatever, dude. Whatever, Michael, right? Whatever. So then, so I flew to Thailand. And at first, the first couple of days, I decided to not meet anyone, just get my feet wet a little bit. So I did two cities. I went to Phuket first. I landed in Bangkok, but then flew to Phuket, and then eventually I went to Bangkok. So I was in Phuket just for a couple of days, just to check it out, check the scenery out, and yeah, boy, dude, if you've never been to Phuket, woo, it's like a carnival. It's like a carnival for adults only. Even though it was a little strange, I saw like a few families there, right? Like with kids, like young kids. It was a little strange, and I don't think they should be there because you know what I mean when I'm saying it's a carnival for adults, right? So there's this area called Walking Street, maybe a mile long, I don't know, but it's lined up with basically bars, right? And when I say bars, they call them go-go bars. Basically, their marketing tactic, these bars, is to have scantily clad dancers out on their bar or on the street, you know. And I would say for the most part, they're pretty cool. Like they'll just dance and wave and say hi to you in their broken English. There would be a few people, and they're actually dudes. They're not really guys. They're not really girls, but there would be a few dudes that work at the bar that would try to pull you in, right? Like, hey, come to this bar, have a drink. We have the best prices and the best girls and whatever, and that was a little annoying. But in general, they were not like that, right? In general, they left you alone, even though it was such a touristy spot. When I travel around the world, where it's mostly a tourist area, it's like they're always trying to get you. There, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. So I enjoyed the scenery. It was really good scenery. Who wouldn't like a carnival, right? for adults. So yeah, I had some fun for a couple nights, um, some good times for sure. Definitely more than USA. Let's just say that. So I did my thing in Phuket, and then I flew to Bangkok to visit the capital, and I met Amy, Becky, and Cammy not at the same time, obviously, but in different days, in different days. And my idea of meeting all three of them was like, oh, I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna date them one or two times. When I'm in Bangkok for my, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 days, whatever. And then we'll just go from there, right? If there is like amazing chemistry, I might continue the conversation offline or online, I should say. I'm sorry. Um, when I go back to the U.S., but I never had expectation that I was gonna continue the correspondence. Like I thought I was gonna have a good time. Um, Probably the culture was just too different, and it wasn't that my intention was just to meet them, have a good time, and say goodbye. That was not my intention, but at the same time, I didn't expect anything to happen. Anyway, long story short, all three were amazing. Amy, I remember, well, I met Amy last. Actually, I met Amy last. And so I met Cami. I'm sorry. I met Becky first. And she actually came from a different town outside of Bangkok that I had to go. It was like 1 hour flight actually, and I met her there. And I met her there for like I believe 2 nights maybe. So I'm like, okay, I want to travel Thailand, right? I want to explore each part of Thailand. I want to travel as many parts of Thailand as possible in my 10 to 14 days there. So I met Becky, and let's just say I had an amazing time, and I was floored by her graciousness. Just a very nice person, but also a very fun person, and I think I think that part, like, let's just say it got drilled into my mind, right? After I saw her, and I left, I went back to Bangkok. That's when I met Cami. Had a great time, Cami. Saw her a couple times. Walk around town, have fun as well, and yeah, also also an amazing time. And she was more quiet. Becky wasn't as quiet, but there was her English wasn't that great, so it wasn't the greatest communication with Becky. With Cami was a little bit worse because she didn't know English at all. But there was just something about Cami that was just she was just like the sweetest thing. Like seriously, like she was so sweet. She did have a child. She has, I believe it was a boy. She has a boy, and at that time, I think her baby was about a year old, and the dad, the father, the baby's father left her, right. So yeah, that was Cami, and then I met Amy. Now, I think of all the three girls, each had their pluses, right? But there was something about Amy. Like when I first saw her at a rooftop bar where we met, it's hard to explain. Like I fell in love with probably as many as three girls in my life. And each time when you fall in love with a girl, you just know, if that makes sense. You kind of, I'm not saying you know it at that time, like, oh, I'm in love. No one really says that, like, I'm in love. That's more of like a movie thing or something, right? But not too soon afterwards. You kind of know, right? You're like, I think I'm in love, right? Like so when I first met her, there was just something about her, and the way she carried herself. She was also very sweet. She was also very kind, and she had the best English. So we were able to communicate almost flawlessly. So I think that's another reason I think I had a really good time with Amy, was because unlike Becky and Cami, there were not that many silent moments. Where with Amy, it was just kind of like, it's almost like, not quite. She's not. She's well. Long story short, she actually lived in America for a couple years. But it's almost like I was dating an American girl. Kind of, right? She was still Thai, Asian culture, but it was partly almost feel like dating Asian girl in Chicago, right? And I had an opportunity to take her home, right? And I chose not to. I chose not to. I said to her, I think your home is closer than my hotel, and I think you should drive back. I'll take a cab. I'll take a taxi back. You know, and I'll be honest with you, being a single guy, um, in a foreign country, it's very easy, right? It's very easy for me. Not that I could have convinced her to go to my hotel, but it was very easy for me to convince myself that, dude, no brainer, man. Just make a move, and you're in Thailand. Whatever happens is gonna happen in Thailand, right? And I just didn't want to do that. There was just something about Amy that I didn't want to do that. I felt it was disrespectful to her and to me. I felt I was disrespectful to myself, right? As a man, to do that. I don't know if that makes sense. So I didn't. I told her to go home and that I'll see her one more time. So yeah, so I saw Becky for a couple of days. I saw Cammy for a couple of days. I saw Amy for a couple of days. And the time was up. I had to go home. And I was so unbelievably conflicted because I hate to say this. I don't think I was in love with all three women, but Michael's advice came to my mind. And I'm like, wow, I have feelings for all three women. They're all great. They're all beautiful. I got home. I got back to Chicago. I did my 10-day trip. It was roughly a 10-day trip. And of course, I couldn't correspond with all three. I mean, I could have, right? I could have corresponded with all three. I could have continued all three. I could have gone back to Thailand and see them again, right? But I just thought, what am I doing? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to, have three online girlfriends or girlfriends and then go back to Thailand every year and see them. Like, that's too much. No, that's not me. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So I decided to end the relationship with Cammy, if you could call it a relationship, right? But it was just, I hate to say it. I'm going to be honest with you. Her being a mom was a factor, right? Because if I were to pursue a relationship with her, well, first of all, there's no guarantee it will work out. There's no guarantee it would work out, right? So, and that's part of the problem. If it doesn't work out, and I see her, and I correspond with her for months on end or years on end, and it doesn't work out, it's like I just invested so much in the relationship with her, with the kid even, and then I'm out, right? Or she's out, right? So to me, that was a big factor. Like, it's just too complicated, I'm totally fine with marrying another woman with a kid. I'm totally fine, 100% fine. But for her to be in Thailand where I'm in America, it just didn't seem the right moment for us. So I told her basically I couldn't see her anymore, right? Or talk to her anymore. So it was between Amy and Becky. And I'll be honest with you, that was hard. What made it hard was this. In my heart of hearts, in my heart of hearts, Amy just felt right. Like, she just felt right. But I have to be honest, Becky rocked my world. I was just a little squirrel in her world, and she rocked that little squirrel. So that made it a little hard. Besides that, she was a nice person, a good person. She seemed genuinely, attracted and liked me a lot. I decided to communicate with both girls, right, Amy and Becky, when I went back to Chicago, and because Amy and I were much more smooth in our conversation and in our time together, I think that I realized she was the one that I was falling in love with, not Becky, right? And it reminded me of the first night that I saw Amy versus the first night I saw Becky. It was completely different. With Amy, I just felt I was in cloud nine, really, from the moment I saw her. Where with Becky, I was just having fun, right? I was just having fun from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I was having fun with her, right? And that was important. You gotta have fun. But with Amy, I just felt everything was just right. So about a month in to the relationship, or a month in back to Chicago, I ended it with Becky and continued with Amy. So we continued talking on the phone, right? We text each other, we call each other every night. And at first it was, we talked to each other maybe a couple times a week. But by the second month, we started talking to each other every day. And I don't know who started the conversation. I don't know if it was me or her. To be honest with you, I forgot about this right now. But I remember. No, I'm sorry. Now I remember. I started a conversation. I started a conversation as a joke about getting married, right? Because I think because we were like so into each other, we were talking with each other hours on end, like for 2 hours, long distance. And I think I made a joke like we might as well get married or something. And to be honest, it was completely a joke. I know some jokes are some truths, right? So it was like 80% joke, 20% truth, let's say. And to my surprise, her answer was like, okay. I'm like, okay. But I didn't know if she took it seriously. I didn't know if her answer was serious or not, too, right? Because that seems so out of left field that we just met in the end of March, and then by beginning of May, we're talking about marriage. So I told my family and friends about this. Like, oh, I think I might get married. Like, I wasn't sure myself if I'm gonna get married, right? But I'm like, there's a chance I might get married. I said, and I don't know when, but I said, there's a chance I might get married. I said, and they look at me like I am crazy. Like, you are one crazy fox. Like, you just met this girl literally 6 weeks ago, right? And now you're talking about getting married. So they try to stop me. They try to tell me, mainly because I was crazy, I shouldn't do it. Just that's a crazy thing to do, like, of course, do you know her? What is she like? Get to know her. And my friend Michael, he's like, listen, Peter, you don't have to get married. You can continue the relationship, online with her, and you can visit her once or even twice a year. But there's no rush to get married. But I wouldn't listen to them. And every day that passed, I was more convinced she's the right one. And just before June, I said to her, like, do you want to do this? Do you really want to do this? And she's like, I think so. So to be honest with you, I'm not even sure if she was going to plan a wedding, but I decided to book the flight anyway. So I booked the flight to Thailand for June. I think it was early June. I don't remember exact date, obviously. It was early June 2017. And I went to Thailand. Oh, I remember the first day. I went to her, she was working at that time, but she left a key for me to stay at her place. And like I said, we got to know each other for 2 months already, right? So 2.5 actually by then. March until June is 2.5 months. So she felt safe with me. I stay at her condo, and oh my god, I couldn't get up. The jet lag, stayed in bed for like hours. But anyway, we met later that day. Uh, I finally got up, went to see her after work, went to eat, reacquainted with each other, in person. But obviously we've been talking for 2 months, and yeah, it's like nothing has changed. So we were in Thailand. I got to Thailand, and she seemed serious about getting married because I wasn't even sure myself if we were going to get married. Like, there's a part of me thinking, I think she's going to change her mind. I know we talk about marriage on the phone. She said she was going to do it. But there was almost like a 30 to 45% part of me saying, she's going to change her mind. There's no way we're going to get married because it's just too quick. Me, I didn't think I was going to change my mind. I'm the type of person that once I make a decision, I'll stick with it, right? But yeah, we did it. We went to City Hall. I think I don't know if it was like the third, fourth day, or whatever. We went to City Hall. She brought a friend with her as a witness. The mom was with her. I met the mom a couple days earlier. Everything went fine, and yeah, we got married. It was a little surreal, but at the same time, it felt normal too. Surreal in the sense that I can't believe this is happening. Like, it's that quick. But at the same time, there was no resistance, right? I didn't resist getting married. It wasn't like, Peter, don't do this. There was no small Peter behind me or whatever, or good Peter or evil Peter, whatever, behind me. Either way, there was none of that. It was just, it felt right. It was surreal, but it felt right. So yeah, we went through with it, and we did our honeymoon in Chiang Mai. We went up north, Chiang Mai, a few hours north of Bangkok, and yeah, it was great. It was great. Chiang Mai was a great honeymoon, and knock off some bucket lists over there as well. Yeah. So yeah, so I went back to Chicago, and Amy stayed behind because she has a job. She has a home, right? She has a job in Thailand, so she stayed behind. But we made arrangement for Amy and her mom to come to the States to visit my family to get their formal approval post marriage. So they came around August. So we got married in June. They came in August. They spent about 2 weeks in the States. We went to Niagara Falls, did some trips. They met my family and my close friends, and all my friends and family's apprehensions about Amy or even me getting married to her were out the door. Within a night or two of meeting her, they felt very, very comfortable and good about my crazy decision to marry her. Like, they still think to this day I was crazy, but their worst fears about me, her, the marriage were basically gone. So that's how good Amy was, and so I think I picked the right decision. So Amy, though, didn't want to just have a wedding at City Hall, right? She knew that was rushed. So we decided to have a formal ceremony in Thailand, and we decided to do it in October. So it was a destination wedding. Even though the flight was no longer $500 something, it was probably $800 by then, or $900 by then. Many people couldn't go, right? If you go to Thailand, you're not gonna be there for 3 days. You're gonna go there for like 2 weeks, and they couldn't take 2 weeks off. So I understood. So basically, my family didn't go. Totally fine with it. But 5 of my good friends went, including my best friend Michael, who warned me not to fall in love and get married, which I did. Sorry, Michael. So yeah, and we went there in October. We did like a formal Thai wedding style. She wore like a Thai wedding dress. I wore a tuxedo, um, so I didn't have to wear a formal Thai dress. But I did some Thai customs that they wanted me to do. Her bridesmaids made me like beg, I don't know, kick the door or something, do some push-ups just to show my love for her, right? Like, and so it was fun. The wedding was actually kind of fun. And after the wedding, we had a party at a boat on the river. It was really fun, even though it was super hot, super humid. Um, Everyone had a great time. Um, Drinks were flowing, good music. Yeah, great memory, great memory. So so that was that, and then a then Amy stayed behind again because she had to close some business off, right? In Thailand, and my friends and I went back to the States, and she came back and finally lived with me by December of 2017. So yeah, folks, that's my Thailand story. My my Thailand trip that I did. I went to Thailand and came back home basically with a Thai wife, and I'm still married with her. So if you decide to go to Thailand, be careful. You might fall in love. I'm not saying don't get married, but just think about it. Thanks for listening.